mouth breather. In the 1990s, there was a role-playing game by the name of Mage the Ascension. It was a game in which the characters play modern wizards. If you're familiar with the Harry Dresden books, those are probably the closest equivalent to the general concept of the setting. In that game, the main antagonist faction was a group known as the Technocracy, the Technocratic Union, and they were divided into 5 subcategories, and one of these was known as the Syndicate. They were literal financial wizards who, as far as I can tell based on the lore, invented the concept of money and used it as a method to control the human population over the course of millennia. And why am I bringing this up now? Well, we live in the age of coronavirus, as you know, and as I mentioned yesterday, when I recorded my first video, I bought the last webcam that was available in the store. They told me that webcams were their toilet paper. They're an electronics store exclusively, and obviously they don't sell toilet paper, but webcams were the item that everybody wanted to have, and they couldn't keep them in stock. So there was only one left. It cost very little money, and I had waited in line. I had actually waited in line to get into the store. I had not experienced anything like that recently, at the very least. So that's an indication of how crazy this particular store, and probably many others that I have not experienced, are going in the age. So, you know, everybody was standing around with their worthless paper masks that don't do anything over their mouths. Fortunately, the store was not demanding that people had to have those, although I'm told that some stores have started doing that. Anyway, I keep getting off the subject. So I bring up the Syndicate because, as I said, in the setting of the game, the conspiratorial version of reality that the game was set in during the 90s, the Syndicate, the evil financial wizards who control all of society, they invented the concept of credit, essentially, as a deliberate attempt to disallow people from carrying cash and make it so that all money existed only as bits of data in an electronic system, which the members of the Syndicate, using their arcane acts, which they considered to be technological rather than magical, but by either definition, things that only they could do and that normal people could not do, they would use these arts to manipulate the entirely digital, entirely virtual money that people were carrying around. And I believe it was in one of the books there was a in-character speech from one of these people talking about how physical money can be stolen physically out of your wallet, but if your money is exclusively stolen, if your money is exclusively stored in the form of digital data, then it's tied to an account which is under your name. Your social security number is a unique identifier. So he claimed that all of these arcane financial systems make it harder for your money to be stolen away. But, of course, he's speaking in character, pushing his agenda, pushing his point of view, and saying something that is very deliberately the opposite of the truth. It is the truth that he wants others to believe in order to dupe and mislead them and exploit them for his own nefarious purposes. If your money exists only as digital data on a credit card, which only works because of a chip inserted in it, and you don't understand how any of it works unless you have studied the science of electronics, if you rely on these arcane forces to keep track of your money and to keep you safe in any other respect, you do not understand how these things work, obviously, unless you have studied them, unless you have gained access to the inner circle of this semi-arcane knowledge. In real life, of course, it doesn't require magical powers, but it does require a great deal of time and effort to study the exact details of how these systems work. So, by moving society away from cash and towards credit cards and so forth, the real-world equivalent of the Syndicate, the individuals who are trying to use these peculiar arcane systems to control society and to control people and to give themselves power and to give themselves more of a sense of control in their own lives. It's a selfish motivation, but they wreck entire societies for the sake of their own ego because they can. This is the upshot of all of these systems, is you are giving up control to forces that are beyond your understanding, and in the age of coronavirus you are doing a lot more of that than you ever have before.